Hello and welcome to SLE Equipment. Today we're doing the instructional video for this 8.5 by 20 blue with blackout package. First thing we're going to start with today is the power supply. So as you can see, this generator comes equipped with the generator platform and the extended tongue. This unit was purchased with the Tomahawk TG9000i inverter generator sitting on the platform there. For our purposes today, we will be running off of our supplied shore power. Whether you're running off of shore power or generator, it is very important before you turn the power supply or before you hook your trailer up, turn off your power supply. It is the 240 volt system, so we just want to make sure everybody is safe, no accidents occur when they can be prevented here. So when you hook up to the trailer, first thing you're going to do is come here on your plug. You'll see a notch on here on the side. You'll line that notch up, insert your plug, and then give a twist to the right. It is a 50 amp plug. So once you've plugged that in there, and it has a little collar here that you can screw down to help lock that in, hold it in place good and tight. And then whether you're hooking up to your generator, you would find the 50 amp plug on your generator there, or on your shore power, then you would go ahead and hook to that and then start your generator up. So I'll go ahead and show you this. So to start the generator, you're going to switch to the on. You see the screen come on. You're going to turn to this first on. The second on position down here is your choke. So you're going to want it on your first one unless it's been setting for a while or cold outside, something along that nature, where you need that extra choke to help get it started. Make sure your breaker is in the off position here for your 50 amp breaker, and then you want to be on 240 volts. We want the low idle in the off position, and then we're ready to start it. There it goes. Since you hear that for a minute, now we're going to go ahead and shut it down. Alright. Once you've connected here and you've turned it on, you're ready to start the equipment inside your trailer. Then at that point, you're going to flip the 50 amp breaker switch up to the on position, and then as you can see, you have a 30 amp plug and then some 20 amp 115 plugs here as well. All right. And you can, once it's up and running, you've got your equipment plugged in, everything is running as it should be. If you want to switch it to the low idle position, then at that point you'd be in good shape to do so. But when you start it, you want to have the low idle off. All right, so we'll go ahead and turn the fuel switch off, turn the main switch off, and that's shut down for now. So you do want to make sure that before starting this unit, check the oil. Oil is going to be in behind the cover here on the side with the pull start. There's 3 bolts here that you just remove those 3 bolts. They take a an 8 millimeter socket. Remove those 3 bolts to check the oil level. You want to do that periodically just to make sure it's got the right amount of oil in it. And there are some instructions here, and then the manual will be inside the unit as well. All right, so moving on around the trailer here. Inside the V-nose here, we have the 30-gallon freshwater tank. The 6-gallon water heater here in the corner. Up above the water heater, the V4 water pump. You can see all the plumbing in the underside of the sink here. And then over here we have the electric panel. the inverter box next to it, and then the 12-volt battery in the bottom. Now the fuses for this trailer are underneath that cover for the 12-volt battery. That's the fuses for the 12-volt system. So that's going to be your water pump and any of your LED exterior and interior lights. Alright, and that inverter, while you're plugged into a power supply, the inverter charges that 12-volt battery. So, but you don't have to, again, the interior and exterior LEDs and the water pump all work off of the 12-volt battery, so you don't have to have the unit plugged into power supply to be operating it. Alright, down here we'll go over these handles here. So this handle is for the main water line coming out of the freshwater tank here. So you can see it's in line. If you turn it this direction where it's not in line with the line there, then that valve is closed. Open that valve back up, it allows water to flow from the freshwater tank to the water heater and to the faucets. And then this one here is your drain line. You can see it runs through into the floor there and out through the bottom of the unit. So that's used to drain your freshwater tank. So if you're shutting it down, you want to drain the water out, or if you're doing the winterization process on it, then you simply just turn that handle open and that'll let it drain all the water out that way. This one here, this is your blowout line. So you hook your air hose up to the fitting here and then open the handle up, and that'll blow all the water out of the lines. You're going to want to shut the main line off, close that valve when you're doing that, but you will get the winterization process in a separate video. Alright, so we'll move on along. Here we have the water access panel. To fill your freshwater tank, you're going to remove this lid here, or cap, insert your hose here, fill that tank up. Once completed, remove your hose and put your cap back in place there. If you have access to a pressurized system, then you'll simply remove this little rubber cap here. You can see it does have a screen filter on it, and this is your standard garden hose fitting here. So if you're running off the pressurized system, that does bypass the freshwater tank, and it supplies water directly to the water heater and the faucets. And I will have this key sitting hanging around the faucet on the sinks there inside the unit. Alright, up here we have the 30-inch wide sliding window. Come on around the unit here. Down here at the bottom we have the main, or the wastewater drain. So simply remove this cap. If you want to hook a 3-inch hose up to this, you can, and you can purchase a 3-inch hose from any RV dealer or RV and camper dealer, or a off of Amazon, something like that. Once you've opened this cap, hook your hose up. If you're going to use a hose, grab this valve here, slide it to the left. That wastewater will drain out. Once it's completed, just close this valve back up and then replace your cap there. Alright, moving on around here, we have the two 7,000-pound axles. Sorry. With black steel wheels. So, quick note here, this rubber cap right here in the center, that pulls out, and behind that is a grease fitting. Once a year, or sorry, once every 10,000 miles or 1 year, whichever comes first, you'll need to remove that grease fit, or remove that cap, connect your grease gun to the grease fitting, and lube that fitting properly. That way it protects your hubs and your bearings in there, keeps them in proper working condition. Alright, we're going to move on around the trailer here. to the back of the unit, and you can see the two propane cages with 100-pound propane tanks in them. The rear entry door, that is a 48-inch wide door, and it's a RV style door with the glass in the center. All right, we're gonna move on around to the side over here. And again, in case I forgot to mention it, that grease fitting on the behind that rubber cap in the center of the wheel there, that is on all 4 tires, all 4 wheels there. So you'll need to do that on all 4 once every 10,000 or 1 year, whichever does come first. All right. And then over on the passenger side here, we have another 30-inch wide sliding window. And then we're back up to the front. So let's go over the propane system on this unit. So the propane system on this unit is the most dangerous system on the unit. So we want to make sure that we take the proper precautions and follow the steps accordingly so that we don't have any accidents with the propane. So the first thing you're going to do, come here to your valve on the propane tank, turn it all the way open. Once you've done that, you're going to kind of listen and smell here around where the bottom of this regulator here. You can see where it says vent on there. You just want to make sure that you don't hear any gas hissing out of that, or that you don't smell an abnormal amount of propane coming from there. If you don't, move on to step 2, which is simply flip the valve open. And this is the open position. Again, it's in line. Closed is not in line there. But you're just going to come here and flip this valve open. When you flip this valve open, you'll hear an initial whoosh of gas come through here. You should not hear anything more than that. If you hear a continuous flow of gas coming through this line right here, then you need to turn this back off, shut your main valve back off, and call your local gas company, have them come out and service the unit. Same thing if you smell an abnormal amount of gas or hear gas hissing out of the vent here, you'll at that point shut it all back off, contact your local gas company, have them come out and service the unit. You may have a problem with your regulator if you're hearing gas hissing from the vent, or smelling the gas coming from here. If you open this valve and you hear gas continuously flowing through there, through the line there, you potentially could have a leak in your system. Could be that the line is damaged. Could also be, and this is one big thing that you want to make sure you do before starting up your system, you'll need to come inside the unit. I kind of got ahead of myself here. But before starting your gas system up, come inside the unit. You'll want to open up both of your windows here. Just slide that window open. Slide this window open. And then over here on the driver's side up by the window, you see 3 light switches here. So this first switch turns on your lights on the hood. And the other 2 switches turn on the exhaust hood. Alright, so once you've done that, then you'll want to go through and check all of your appliances. Make sure that the knobs on each one of your appliances are in the off position. Okay? So like when I tested this unit, I just made sure that the gas valves were turned off and closed on here. Alright? But once you're satisfied that all of your knobs are in the off position, you've got your windows open and your exhaust hood's on, then you can come back out the back of the unit here, and that's when you would start the process of opening your valve, turning your valve on here, and opening this valve, letting that go. So, but if you hear the continuous flow of gas through this valve here, shut this back off, go back in the unit, check all your knobs again, make sure they're all off, make sure you didn't accidentally bump one as you were checking others, something, you know. Once you've done that, if all the knobs are off, you come back out here, you open this, you hear that continuous flow of gas again, you need to contact your gas company. So one big concern here is I'll show you here, these gas lines do run underneath the trailer. So there is the potential for road debris, whether it be rocks or tire, rubber, or wood, whatever could be laying on the interstate or on the roadways, to kick up off the road, hit that gas line on the bottom of the trailer, and damage a gas line there. So that could be one thing that could cause it. There could be other issues there as well. So like, just reinforcing, if you hear the continuous flow of gas, shut everything down, contact your good local gas company, have them come out and service the unit. Okay, sorry for the redundancy, but that is a very, very important aspect here. All right, we'll go inside the unit here. Since we're not actually, we don't have any gas running here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn this hood off. I don't feel like I have to yell while shooting this video here, but all right, show you the hood here. 48-inch wide, looks to be 15-foot long hood, exhaust hood there. You can see the filters are all in place along with the grease rails. So the only thing missing right in here behind this wrapping, behind this piece of paper there's the grease cup. So that grease cup is going to mount here on the wall or on the hood there. And then, so important piece of information here, once every week at minimum, you will need to pull these grease filters out, take them out, wash them with soap and warm water, get them cleaned up, and then put them back in place. I recommend taking the grease rails down. These are very easy to take down. As you can see, they just sit on these little notches here, so you can raise that up, pull it out. And there's 2 of those on each grease rail, 1 at each end. So, but very easy to take those out and put them back in place. But the grease rails and the grease cup I would pull out and wash once a week along with the grease filters. Now the grease cup you may have to wash more often as it may fill up faster. So just food for thought on that. As far as removing these grease filters, very simple operation. Come here, lift, pull out, lower down. All right. Pretty simple to get them out, and then to put them back in, it's right in reverse. Just going to slide it in place on the top, slide it in place on the bottom, push it to the side to close up any gaps. That way you don't let any larger objects that get sucked up into there and potentially damage the fan, or either one of the 2 fans. This one has 2 on it. So all right, so that's your exhaust hood. And then we'll go off, so you can see all of the suppression system here. The nozzle's hanging down for it on the fire suppression system. And then runs over to the tank, and then the control head here. So if something was to happen and you needed to manually discharge the fire suppression system, you do that by simply grabbing the pin, yanking firmly, and then push this handle from here up here, and this will go from set over to the fired position, and at that point you're going to want to exit the unit. All right. Here's the tag where the system was put in place, and then you'll need to check with your local codes department as to how often you need to have the unit, this fire suppression system, checked and serviced. Moving on over here, this thing beeping annoyingly is the carbon monoxide alarm and explosive gas alarm. It's annoying for a reason though. So what you're seeing flashing on the screen, the LB and the 0. So the 0 indicates that it's not detecting any carbon monoxide. Good thing. The LB stands for low battery. That's because the battery is laying there with the manual for it. I don't like to put them in ahead of time because it will drain the battery while the unit's sitting unplugged here on the lot. So once you take possession of the unit, you can plug that battery in, unplug this on the back. This cap, show you, it slides down, you can pull that out. This battery actually removes from here, and the wire to it here is in behind the cap on this side. On this side over here are some mounting screws, so if you wanted, you could mount this on the wall, off to the side, whatever, and have the wires going over so that it's not taking up too much space there. I'll leave that for your discretion. I just want to make sure to show you that it is there and that you have that option of mounting it or just leaving it on the plug directly into the outlet there. All right, so moving on around the unit here, let's go here first. We have the 24 by 48 work table with undershelf mounted inside the unit. Back here is a Class K and a Class ABC fire extinguishers. So the Class K is required in all commercial kitchens throughout the country, and then the ABC is just a good all-around fire extinguisher. So those are in the unit and part of the fire suppression package that was purchased with this trailer. Up front here we have the blue cabinets with the 3-basin sink, and then the hand wash station. The hand wash station, I'll show you this right quick. So you have your hot and cold side. Oh, wait a minute. Before you turn on any faucet, or like I just did, turn it on and water's not flowing, you'll need to flip on the switch for the water pump. Once you do that, voila, water flows. So you can see the hot water running there. Put the cold water on. Alright, sorry about that, had a little technical difficulty, but we'll come over here and turn this faucet on the hot water side, and I'm going to give you a reading here. You can see the water heater is working. Now I've got the water heater set at max, so you can see it's past 120 now. It's up to 123, climbed to 124 there. This thing will go on up around above 125. 125 is a setting right before max. I set it to max just so that it heats up a little quicker, and I know it's good and ready when I shoot these videos, but most health departments require that you be able to demonstrate 120 degrees. So you may want to set it around 125. I'll let you play with that, figure that part out. But all right, next up, let's go around the unit and check these wall plugs. 2 lights means it's working. We're good. Working properly, I guess I should say. Good. Good. Last plug on the passenger side. Come around here to the driver's side. We got a couple plugs up here. And then you know this one's working for the alarm to be on. So, all right. That is that. Real quick, so these cabinets here at the front, they just simply look into the V-nose so you can see access things there. Now you can access your valves to your water supply tank and your water heater from this cabinet on the driver's side here. So, and then up above the V-nose we have the shelf there as well. And then there are a couple of manuals here laying up here for you. Take that back with me. All right. Finish this up. You have the rubber coin flooring throughout the inside of the unit here. It is equipped with a manual vent here in the roof. So you just turn that knob to open and close that vent. And then you can see the LED light at the end. There, one there, one more in the middle, and then one up here in front, just in front of the V-nose there section. And then the heat and air unit here. So I do have it on to demonstrate that it works. So this knob here is your on-off knob. So you have off, low cool, high cool, low fan, high fan, low heat, high heat. And then this knob here is your temperature control knob. Cold air, hot air, turn that on. And then these two switches here, this one and this one here, those are directional switches, so you can have one end open, one end closed. With an exhaust hood in the unit, my suggestion, don't have to listen to it at all, my suggestion would be close the vent on this end so the air's not blowing out that way. It's blowing to the front and then coming back into the unit that way, because with the exhaust hood right here, any air that comes out of this back end is just going to go be sucked right out through the exhaust hood. So it's defeating your purposes there. Here you can get a good look at the screen door on the inside from the inside of the unit. To open this screen door, you simply just push the handle down and pull the latch there, push this down, that opens up the door. And as you can see, the door can stay closed together, or you can have the screen door shut and the door open. All right. On the side wall here, just inside the door, is the 4 light switches. Switches for the exterior lights on the unit, and then the interior lights inside the unit here as well. All right, that's pretty much going to do it for what we have on the trailer inside the unit. So next thing we need to talk about is shutdown procedures. So end of the day, sold a lot of food, made a lot of money hopefully, and we're ready to shut things down and go to the house. So the first thing you want to do is shut down your gas. So the gas procedure is basically the same as turning it on, just in reverse. First thing you're going to go through, you're going to turn off every one of your appliances. Just turn all your knobs to the off position. That should turn everything off. You may have some pilot lights still on. If it's a fryer, you'll need to turn the pilot lights off on the fryers, or another piece of equipment that maybe doesn't have a free-flowing pilot light. If it has a free-flowing pilot light, just make sure that the equipment itself is turned off, and then on the temperature knob, and then the free-flowing pilot light will go out once we just turn off the gas outside. So we've turned off all the knobs on our appliances and equipment. Leave the exhaust fan running at this point and leave the windows open, or exhaust hood, shall I say. we're going to exit the unit, come out here. We're going to turn this valve back to the off position as you see it here. So that valve is now closed, and then we're going to come up here and turn this valve to the off position and close it up. All right. Sorry for the poor camera work there. Now, one thing I do want to note, both of these tanks, they're 100-pound propane tanks. When you get them, they are empty. So a 100-pound propane tank holds about 23 gallons approximately of propane. So you will need to take those to a licensed certified dealer to have them filled. We recommend that because that way you get somebody who is trained on it and knows how to properly fill one. Overfilling it can cause damage to the unit or to the regulator itself. So you just want to make sure that you have somebody that actually knows what they're doing. Fill these tanks when you do that. All right, once we've turned our gas off at the tanks, and you want to do that on both tanks, just make sure they're both shut off. You don't have to have both tanks open at the same time to operate your equipment. You can, not going to hurt anything, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You can run off of one tank, and then when it goes empty, you go out and turn the other one on. You do run the risk of one tank running dry and all of your equipment turning off. Your choice there. But once we've done that, we've turned off the gas to the trailer. Now we're going to come in here, and now you can come up here and turn off your hood. So these two switches go to the hood, and then this is the light switch, and you can, for the lights on the hood, you can turn that off, leave it on to finish cleaning up, just a little more light if you want. All right, now with the water, what I like to suggest to everybody, a couple of things just to help save the water heater here. Before you plug your water heater in, and I would get in the habit of doing this every single time I get in the unit, you want to come here to the hot water side, turn it on, and make sure you have a good steady flow of water coming out as you see there. If you do not, say the unit has been, you've done the winterization process on it, now you've gotten the unit back out, when you turn that faucet on, it's gonna spit and sputter water until it gets all the air out of the line. So you wanna make sure that you have all the air out of the lines and you have a good steady flow before you plug your water heater in. The reason for that is when you turn on the hot water side, it's pulling that water from the water heater to the faucet. So if you have a good steady constant flow like that, then that tells you that the water heater itself is full of water now. So now it's safe to plug in the water heater and not risk damaging the element, the heating element inside the water heater. All right. And then once you know that, if you've gone through the winterization process, it'd be a good idea to go ahead and run the cold water side as well. But as part of the shutdown procedures, what I recommend to everybody just to get in that habit is at the end of your day, go out and unplug your water heater. That way you don't get in, you left it plugged in the last time you were in it, you did the winterization process because all of a sudden the cold front moved through and the temperature was dropping down. So you went through and winterized it, and then it's still plugged in before you get it filled with water and the unit's been up and running. It could potentially damage the heating element in your water heater, and it's just an extra expenditure that I'm certain don't want to incur there. So my recommendation is get in the habit of unplugging it every single time when you shut down the unit, and then plugging it in after you've made sure that you have a good flow of hot water, or a good flow through the hot water side. Okay? Anyway, moving on. So we've gone through the shutdown procedure for the gas, gone through the shutdown procedure for this. Once you've done, sorry, my watch is going off. Once you've done those procedures, you finish cleaning up for the day. The only thing left is go out, turn your generator off, unplug it, roll your power cord up, put it in the V-nose, and head out for the day. All right. One quick note here, up here by the door, you see this sign that says, "Do not enter without reading first." So this has some general safety guidelines and procedures, general maintenance kind of information on it at the top. And then it has some of the startup procedures and shutdown procedures listed here. And then before transit. So be a good idea to read that, and just, if you ever need a refresher, you can always come here, or you can refer back to this video for some of the information. One thing before transit, do please check your lug nuts, make sure that they're tightened to the proper, or tightened properly, and make sure that you have proper air pressure in the tires. Check your blinkers, your brake lights, running lights. Make sure that those work. You don't have a waste hose hooked up to it that you're going to drag down the road, things of that nature. So, but all of that is on that sticker inside the door there. And that is going to do it for today's video. We thank you very much for choosing SLE. Have a great day.